Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I'm talking with my friend Kevin Lentini, who's also known as, oh, for crying out loud, it just fell out of my head, the Trusty Ape podcast, which I have a link to his YouTube channel below, and you can check it out there. You can also follow him around on Twitter if you like. It'd be great if you had some more followers. Anyways, Kevin, what I do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of. So why don't you kind of take us back to the days when you were once a believer and how you sort of swam your way through it and found your way out of the belief system you were once a part of.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Neil. So I'm not a traditional like deconvert because I never held strictly to religious belief, but well, let's just say I held on to a lot of bad ideas in the past, and It's been a struggle to try to let that go. So I was born, I'm 32 years old. I was born in Danville, Arkansas, a very rural county. For reference, if you know the film True Grit, that's where the lead heroine from that film hails from, is Yale County, Arkansas. We didn't live there very long. The doctor, he was a Christian. He was also a sadist. He tortured my mother and I during childbirth, as far as I'm concerned. So coming away from that, we moved to California when I was 2. My parents were never a couple. So going into grade school, I got a lot of teasing that way. People would call me a bastard. People would tell me I was going to hell. I didn't really know what they were talking about. But it became apparent to me during that time that religion was very important to people. So when I was around maybe age 6, I asked my mom, well, hey, what church do we belong to? What religion do we belong to? And my mom said to me very honestly, she said, you know what? I don't know. She said, I was raised a Catholic, but I don't know what church we should go to. Why don't you figure it out? And she gave me a bunch of books, which I think is one of the best things she could have done for me.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool that she said that and did that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. So I attended a Catholic after-school program for a while, but my mom always raised me to be tolerant and nonviolent, and I found that the traditional Catholics were not that way. They endorsed corporal punishment. They had a lot of dogma that I didn't agree with.
Sure.
So around that time, I thought, well, you know, maybe all these people who are seeking God, maybe they're not wrong, but the religions themselves are wrong. And I started to kind of disassociate from that. I tried to write my own religion as a child, which was quite ridiculous, but that was kind of where I was at. But I was still a spiritual seeker.
Right. When you say spiritual seeker, how in your mind was that defined for you?
I guess it was just that that notion that everybody says, well, we can't all have come from nothing. There must be some mind behind all of this. You know, that was kind of where everybody was at. And I said, well, all these people can't possibly be wrong. I mean, somebody's got to be right here.
Actually, sure they can. But anyways,
yeah, I know that now. But you know, as a kid. And being impressionable. And of course, there were plenty of people trying to convert me to their belief system. So, and I will say around the same time, it was about first, second grade, was when I started getting in trouble in school. And that was over a bit of different discrepancy about indoctrination with nationalism. I first got in trouble in school for refusing to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I said, it's ridiculous. I'm a 6, 7-year-old child, and you're trying to make me pledge allegiance to a country when I have no choice, no freedom of thought here. I'm just being indoctrinated. I didn't know what that word meant at the time, but you know, I had an understanding that there was something fundamentally wrong with the fact that they were making me recite these words at such a young, impressionable age.
Sure.
So that was really my first kind of inkling against authoritarianism, against nationalism, the things that I believe to be wrong to indoctrinate your children into if you want to create free and independent thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
JR from Yale County. All right. All right. Yeah. Arkansans unite here. So yeah,
Did I
for
just hear
those
a
of you who
beer get
can't
cracked
see,
open?
yeah, I'm cracking my first beer.
Attaboy. It's time.
So that was when I started getting in trouble with authority, and it kind of snowballed from there. So I knew right away that I didn't subscribe to nationalism. I was already fundamentally against the idea of any type of blind allegiance, and religion obviously was included in that. But I thought that I could find the answer. That there had to be some truth behind this belief of divinity. So that was what I sought to find.
And how did that go for you? Like, let me ask you this. Did you go into like multiple types of religions? Like, a little bit of Christianity, maybe Judaism, maybe Islam, maybe Hinduism, something like that, looking for the right path that would have fit how you were thinking, or?
Yeah, it was something like that. I took elements of Christianity, not so much Islam. I'm not very well informed about Islam. I'm just starting to learn about that. But Christianity, Buddhism, I learned about Taoism. So
Cool.
I took just kind of little pieces of each of those and what I thought made sense to me, right?
Right.
So going into that, I'm kind of studying religion as a young person, but I also had these behavioral issues, and this is kind of where things become convoluted. I don't want to make this too much of a mental health story, but we do have a history of mental health issues in my family, and so a couple years into this, and as I said earlier, there was my father was not a consistent figure in my life, so there were many outside male influences who kind of came and went. So around 1998, my mother had a mental breakdown, and we were uprooted from where we were. We'd already moved around a lot, but we moved clear across California, near the Oregon border, and we moved into a very conservative town in Northern California. For those of you who don't know, we're always known as this super liberal state, but actually the northern half is very, very red. You will find a lot of that up there, and so I was exposed to that for the first time around age 10. So that was when people really started trying to indoctrinate me with Christian ideals, with conservative ideals, and white supremacist ideals. And I wasn't familiar with all of that. It was a huge culture shock for me.
I bet it was. How'd you deal with that?
Not well. I got involved with the wrong crowds. Actually, I kind of got suckered into doing a lot of things I didn't agree with. I participated in some activities that I would not agree with today. I would slap myself silly for,
Like, okay, give us an example. Something that you would have done then that you wouldn't do today that you'd slap yourself silly today for.
Well, a lot of it was, and I don't want to get too far ahead. Maybe I skipped a bit here, but we got
That's
into like being anarchists and stuff like that. That's what I thought I was as a young person, and so I was just generally rebellious. So, we thought it was funny to go downtown and spray paint swastikas on the side of buildings, things like that.
Ooh,
I didn't believe in fascism or Nazism, but I didn't care. I thought it was just a fun thing to do, and in some sense it was. I mean, you get the thrill of doing this damage and getting away with it, whether it's breaking windows or spray painting or whatever. But at the end of the day, when you reflect on what you're really representing, it's not it's not you, you know, it's just a very juvenile form of rebellion.
Of course. I was the same way. Of course, being raised as a Jew, I wasn't running around spray painting swastikas everywhere, but we did our share of naughty shit as a kid, right? So I think we all went through that stage to some
Yeah,
degree.
absolutely. And I'll say I mean, I don't know about where you're from, but the town I was in, it was, like I said, it was such a I'm from the Bay Area, primarily in California, so we're city folk, and this town called Redding, which was grown now, but at the time it was a very folksy town, and there was nothing to do. There were no activities or groups for kids. We were all just left to our own devices. And so that was dangerous.
Yeah, usually is if you leave a bunch of rowdy kids alone with nothing to do. So carry on, man.
Yeah. So I, like I said, I was kind of running around, not doing a lot, just getting into trouble. And around age 12, I decided that I was going to become a musician. And I was very adamant about this. I said, this is what I'm going to do with my life. Thank you, Cynthia. I said, I'm going to do this professionally, or I'm going to die trying. So I made a friend at that time. We learned to play bass and guitar together. We started writing songs, and it was a dream that we were going to get the hell out of that town. We were going to tour the world. We were going to make music, and nothing was going to stop us. So at this time, I'm hyper liberal. I'm like I said, I'm libertarian to the point of being an anarchist. I totally want to destroy the government. I don't think it has anything to offer me. And so that's what we made music about. And slowly but surely, religion got filtered in there. Now, my best friend at the time was raised in a very conservative Christian household, and that's where we were rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started speaking out against religion, it was to him and his family. Now, my friend was really conducive to my ideas. He was understanding. He was willing to hear me out. But his mom, his little brother, and the people they had around them were always had some retort to what I had to say.
Sure.
And so that's my first kind of experience with apologetics, with debates. I would have long debates with that family, and many times she tried to kick me out of there. She said I was a heretic. She said I was bringing the devil into her house. But it never happened. She always had to let me back. And I have to say, for that, she's one of the most Christian people I've ever known, because after all that, I mean, we still have a pretty decent relationship to this day, even though she knows I'm a non-believer and I've attempted to steer her children away from God. We all still have a pretty good relationship.
Well, that's good. So they're more of the turn the other cheek types.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's made it her personal mission to save my soul, and you know, like I said, I think that's the most true Christian value you can possibly have.
Yeah, but you think by now she might have figured out that it's not going to happen, or does she still come at you like that?
No, she doesn't come at me with that at all. When we speak occasionally, she'll pray for me, and I just kind of tolerate that. I don't object to it too much, but she knows that it's pretty much an off limits subject. But we'll go further into that story, because there's a little more to that. I had a relationship with these people for many years during my teens. So, and again, I'm trying not to skip over too much relevant stuff here. So I essentially dropped out of school about age 14, 15. I was deeply involved in the mental health system. I didn't think school was right for me. I wanted to get legally emancipated. That never happened for me. But I decided that I was right. Everybody else was wrong. I knew best, and I was going to do whatever the hell I wanted. And so that's what I did. I stopped going to school. I stopped listening to my mom at all. And she had no control over me. She didn't know what to do.
I bet.
And so around this time, I started getting into drug use, self-medicating, and this is more of the time when I was hanging around more actual white supremacists, people who were coming out of jail and prison. Basically, I was a 16-year-old kid who was hanging out with adults who had serious problems.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, did you ever consider yourself to be a white supremacist?
No, not at all. And on that note, I was always trying to challenge those ideas, although gently.
Okay, sure.
They would always include me in their group. Well, you're a brother. And I would say, well, sure, we're all brothers, but why do you hold on to these racist ideas? And then we would get into these conversations, but I had very little luck actually changing people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
But I just found it was very easier for me to make friends in that group. They would automatically accept me because of the color of my skin. And so I just fit right in. But no, I never supported that ideology.
That's good, because it's a fucking terrible one.
Yeah, absolutely. I come from a mixed family, and as I said, my mom was always very tolerant, nonviolent. So she raised me to believe the best things. I think, being an idealist and a humanist. I don't care for that word too much, but I'll use it here.
Well, it's being a humanist is not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing.
I don't think it is. I feel philosophically it could be self-serving if we don't see this as like a long-term goal for the whole human race, the whole planet, right? That's where I come from. That there are things that could be beneficial to humans that are not beneficial to the ecosystem as a whole, like fossil fuels, little things like that, where I kind of have discrepancies, but I know that's just kind of splitting hairs there. So
yeah. Well, see, I call myself a humanist because for me, humanism is about making this place better for everyone. Inclusiveness, everyone having the same rights. Well, unless you're like a fucking child molester or something, then I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. But you know what I mean? Every average good human being deserves the same all over the globe. But unfortunately, it is nowhere fucking near that. So we got a lot of work to do in that respect.
Absolutely. Shit, I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, no.
You're talking about being included in these guys' stuff and whatnot. So.
Oh yeah. So I got involved in that a little bit. It was just, like I said, a lot of just running the streets, searching for a community. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
That's okay. Jenna has a good point. You can't fault yourself for trying to find solace with people that openly accept you. It's what we all need, really.
Absolutely, Jenna, and that's why I'm here. I guess that's towards the end of what I have to say here. So,
that's correct.
I have a tendency to go off on tangents, so you can steer me back if we need. So I was involved in these kind of small groups, but my main thing, as I said, was my band. I wanted to be a musician. My goal was to get out there and play shows in every major city I could find. And so at the age of 17, I met a woman. She was a bit older and had children already. I fell in love with her son in the paternal sense, not the child molester sense. And so we kind of went from there. She said, well, I'm moving down to Sacramento, down to the capital city. Would you care to go with me? And I said, hell yeah, get me out of here. And I went with her.
Yeah.
And it was all good at the time. We had a very rosy relationship for a while. And then several months later, we were pregnant with our own child. I was 18 years old. I thought I had it all figured out. I said, yeah, I'm totally ready for this. I can take whatever you've got to dish out, you know? I started playing with another band down here in Sacramento. They were interesting guys. They uh, they were mostly spiritual or Christian people, but they were open to my ideas. And so at that time, I decided, like I said, I had been writing songs against religion and against authority.
I've got a
But
few myself.
yeah, and at that point, I said, I want to put this on the stage. And they said, yeah, absolutely, do your thing. And they let me have 2 songs every night when we'd play, and I would play my stuff. And it was a song called The Seventh Day, which was about abstaining from church, and a song called Jesus Ain't Coming Back, which is one of our most popular now.
Nice.
Yeah, and again, it was kind of a juvenile form of rebellion, but it was something I felt I needed to say at that time. And that was when I decided as a parent that I was never going to let my kid be duped into these religious beliefs. That was just super important to me. So that was kind of where I decided this was like a really serious issue for me. Kind of music do I play? I play everything, Randy. I play mostly punk rock, a little bit of heavy metal, and I also love. I've got a couple of classical pieces, some blues. I
Cool.
try to be all over the spectrum.
Us too. We try to. If you listen to all of our songs in a row, you may not even know it's the same band. Let's put it that way. We got acoustic, heavier, not so heavy. We got almost some that pays tribute to almost every influential type of music that we had in our lives, and we'd like to show that in our music. So,
Right, got you. I hope this message in the chat isn't for me. I don't want to fuck things up here, but okay, it's Mikey. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have an echo or something like that.
Shelly's awesome. She actually every Saturday Shelly does a little songwriting stream on YouTube, and I often pop in there and help her with lyrics and stuff.
Is that Shelly Siegel?
Shelly Segal? Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hello.
No. She's not in the chat right now.
Oh, okay.
We're friends, so she might pop in, but it's been a while since she has. Shelly's great though.
No, she's amazing, and I have to thank you for having Matt Dillahunty on before me. Praise be to Matt. I love that guy, but he also terrifies the shit out of me.
Don't be terrified. You saw the interview with him. He's a pretty chill, laid back dude. Mind you, he was really baked, but
yeah. No, I've wanted to call into the Atheist Experience for years, but then I'm like, nah, I don't really want to get my head bitten off today. So
well, it depends on what you want to talk about, man. Abram, metal, yeah. We do a lot of metal in my band, but we also cover different sounds as well. A lot of bluesy sounding stuff. Some stuff that a friend of mine said, "Jesus Christ, this song reminds me of the Rolling Stones." I'm like, "Good, thank you." That's what I like to hear.
That's what I love, diversity in music, because I being in the local gig scene, you see a lot of bands that are formulaic, and they'll play essentially the same song 8 or 10 times, and that's their set, and you're just like, okay,
sounds like a Nickelback album.
Yeah.
They live here. Ugh, fuck. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm not really a big Nickelback fan. I do like a couple of tunes off their very first album, like Leader of Men. I used to do that one for karaoke, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm a guilty pleasure Nickelback listener, but like you said, the early stuff, not any of this newer shit. But
no, tons of mice. You were there yesterday. He's 5'11".
I'm not physically afraid of him. I just know intellectually if I say something stupid, I'm going to regret it instantaneously. So
Jeff, it's okay. He had Aaron Raw on the week before me. Actually, Aaron popped into the after party with Matt. So Aaron pops in every once in a while.
Yeah, it's good.
Also
fun.
a friend. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I think back way back when I just would watch everyone on YouTube and think, man, one of these days I want to meet all these people and become friends with them. And I made it happen. So now I've met them all and I'm friends with them all, and it's been pretty cool. They're all really good people, one way or another. So, and I'm talking about like everybody, like the usual people that you might think of as YouTubers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. I was like, well, maybe I could call into this show and form a friendship with this guy. Actually, I've emailed Matt a couple times and he didn't respond to me. Probably because I know he's flooded with questions, but also because it wasn't very well written. It was kind of just off of the cuff type of thing, and he's got a lot of really serious questions to respond to. So I didn't fault him for that, but it was kind of the same thing for me. I said I was watching maybe 2 or 3 shows. Damn, I'm skipping ahead in my story again. And
that's okay.
And all of a sudden I realized that there was this whole community underneath. It wasn't just the ACA or the Thinking Atheist or any of these shows I was watching. There's so many people out here trying to communicate with each other. And I found that really amazing. I still find that just really amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've got a whole list of thank yous when we get to the end. I'm not going to do it right now.
But. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I could list out. I could roll out a list that might go right out into the hallway from here of people that I'd like to thank too and I've been able to actually thank many of them in person, so that's pretty cool. And I'll tell you, one of the craziest thing is when I went to Faithless Forum in 2018, the last one that they were able to have, and I met like Thomas Westbrook and Drew, who's also known as Genetically Modified Skeptic. And I met the two of them, and when they told me that they'd been noticing my work, I was floored. I was like, "Really? You're kidding me?" Because I only had like maybe 300 subscribers at the time. He goes, "Yeah, dude, we've been noticing what you do. We got a couple of tips for you to kind of improve a little bit, and we like what you do. And next year we want to have you on the speakers panel. So once we finally get Faithless Forum going again, and we can all attend, apparently I'll be on the speakers panel, or one of the panel. So
that's
looking
awesome.
forward to that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But to tell them, or for them to tell me that they've been noticing what I've done is like, what? Really? Like, I didn't think I was really making that much of a dent, to be honest, back then. So that was pretty cool to hear that.
Even now, I mean, I had somebody tell me the other day, I'll just drop it now. Math Pig, he said he was watching my videos and he said, you're doing it right, man. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. And I've been like, yeah, maybe I just don't belong here. Maybe I suck at this. Maybe I should just quit, and then to have Math Pig come and tell me I'm doing a good job. I mean, that's a huge reinforcement right there. So
yeah, I mean, don't give up, dude. If what you're doing isn't working, tweak it a little bit, right? Find a niche that you can easily fill, something that's really comfortable for you. Like, I wanted to talk to people, period, because I'm let's face it, everyone in the chat can vouch for this. I'm a chatty guy, and I'm a pretty personable and friendly guy, so I'll talk to just about anybody. And that's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to be able to hear people's reasons for leaving religion behind. So that's why I started to do this. And honestly, it was Seth Anders, really, when I first heard him talking to people about why they left, is why I decided to start doing this. So
I love that. Seth was a great guy. I mean,
he's very chill. Yeah. He's a chill dude. And he's funny too, even in person. He's just as funny in person. Man.
Absolutely. Okay.
Anyways, let's get back to the story. Now that we've sidetracked yet again.
Yeah. If I have a story here, I became a dad. Started playing music. Okay, and now we get back into the family I was talking about. My best friend, who I formed my very first musical group with. So, and I want to clarify. I know I kind of maybe made an ass of myself with Irish Swede here.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Jesus. What did he do?
No, it was me. No, so a couple weeks ago when I was in the chat and Irish Swede was talking about a medical condition he had was going through
Oh,
with
yeah.
aortic dissection. I didn't know the terminology of that, but this is what my best friend died of at the age of 20. It was undiagnosed at the time. They missed it. So that was when my life kind of took a turn on its ear. So within a 24-hour period, my best friend dropped dead from internal bleeding. And my daughter's mom got blackout drunk and trashed my dad's house and ended up going to jail. And I had to take custody of my oldest daughter. And I was questioning everything at this point. To me, in my mind, everything was going to play out a certain way. And at that moment, everything fell apart. Nothing was as it should have been, right? And it really crushed me. I've never completely recovered from that. I've learned to deal with it over the years, but
I'm sorry, dude.
it's like, you know that death is coming, but you don't expect it to happen to your friend who's the same age as you, who you have all these hopes and dreams shared with. And so at that point, I was completely alone. And for me, I didn't have the opportunity to see his body. I never got to see him after he passed. He had already been taken to the mortuary at that point. And they said, well, you're not a family member. We're embalming him. And well, he doesn't want to be buried. He wants to be cremated. I knew that for a fact. And so his mother eventually had him cremated. But it was one of those situations where I went up there and I expected to at least have some closure. And the closure I got was, this is God's plan. And it's all for the best. And, we're all, yeah, God
Sorry,
wanted
man. I
him
hear
to
that
come
shit.
home.
I hear that shit and I just get fucking riled up because it's utter bullshit.
Yeah, it killed me inside. Just knowing. So, and up until that point, I mean, we had a falling out, me and my friend, and he had become, I had successfully turned him away from Christianity, but he believed in paganism at that point. And so we had disagreements over that and issues around the white supremacy thing, because he kind of subscribed to that a little bit, which were unresolved. And so the fact that I didn't get to have closure on any of those things, and then he died, and his family pretty much, I felt like they were shining me on. I mean, I knew specifically what he had said, and they were not respecting that. And to me, I found that the greatest fault in their religion. They had to try to make him look Christian. It was for their own vanity.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. So after that, I left. I I formed a new relationship. Okay, and this is another reoccurring pattern in my life: unhealthy, codependent relationships. Within a week, I got involved with another woman, and she seemed to have her shit more together than the first one.
Seemed? Why does that sound like a term?
Yeah, well, I mean, on paper, she looks very good. She's a Latina woman, if I'm not mumbling enough. And okay, she was immediately there at my side, at my aid when this had all happened. And I said, okay, so we don't have any expectations here. We just both need a place to stay, and I want a healthy environment for my daughter. So let's do this. Let's move in. Well, she came from a very strict Catholic family. I didn't really understand that at the time. And about a year later, we were pregnant with another child. So around this time,
you and the Latina girl?
yes, that's correct.
Okay. You fertile mother.
Yeah, I have 4 kids. So,
Oh wow!
to clarify, yeah, with the 2 women. So,
I hear another beer.
I'm having the time of my life here.
Oh, cool.
And so around this time, she and I had agreed to certain things pertaining having a kid together, and we had kind of verbal agreements between us. But her parents had come to stay with us, and this was the next time religion really got brought up to me in my life. Her mom had a serious problem with the fact that we were unwed, that we were going to have a child together, but the fact that I did not ever plan to marry. And she told us that we were evil and our son was damned to hell.
Oh, fuck off. I hate that shit, man.
And that's what I told her. I said, you know what? You want to believe that? That's fine. But if you want to come over here and start proselytizing to me, I said, you're living in my house free of charge. You can keep your fucking opinions to yourself. And so that went into a downward spiral. We never got along again after that. My son was born. We went almost a year like that, and then my son's mom and myself, we ended up splitting up for different reasons. It had nothing to do with the religion, but that was a big hindrance in our relationship after that, because her family would not accept me because I would not accept their religion.
Mm-hmm.
And so we split up. Yep.
Well, so you were literally born into it anyways. So not that you practiced it, but that's what your mom was, you had said before.
Yeah, both of my parents were raised Catholic, but they weren't. So I don't remember. We never went to churches as kids. Like for me and my siblings, the very few times we went to church, it was kind of a token. You know, maybe we'll go to mass just to make ourselves present there every once in a while. But my earliest memory in the church was when my mom's first marriage. And this man was extremely abusive, and he had actually forced her to marry him, essentially at gunpoint. And
Whoa.
I remember, no, yeah, he was a horrible person. And I remember going into the church with my grandma, and this is the church where they filmed Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and we went to go. I'm sorry, that was where they held the reception, but the wedding was a separate location. And we went to go in there, and that was the whole thing. I thought the whole time, and I told my grandma, I said, when they said, speak now or forever hold your peace, I said, I have to say something. My grandma said, no, just be quiet. Just let your mom be happy. But I knew that she wasn't. It was just this intuition I had as a kid. But that's my first memory of ever being in a church. It wasn't like we attended service or anything like that.
Sure.
And on that note, I remember, as I said, I had a lot of diverse influences when I was younger, and I can remember being exposed to like people like Bill Maher when I was in early childhood, like shows like Real Time and stuff when it was on HBO. That was always, I mean, I wasn't paying too much attention to it because I didn't care about talk programs at that time, but I did kind of retain some of that information. And so later on in life, that became one of my big influences. Julie LaFoisse, love you.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a little on the chatty side. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean her junk shop library are immensely supportive. They're on my list. I've got that.
They're two of the best people I know. So
Yeah.
actually, I know a lot of great people, and I'm actually pleased about that, to be honest.
But going back, what we're talking about, like I was raised, yeah, in Catholicism, essentially, but I never took any of it seriously. And as I go through my life, I find myself more and more speaking out against this. I just find better and better reasons. Now, I don't know the Bible well, and I don't know apologetics well. But I mean, when you say you're talking about a work of fiction and utter nonsense, I mean, that's what you get out of the Bible. And I'm doing a Bible study now. Um, that's like where I went with it. I went to the most extreme, and I have to say, okay, so I haven't gone here yet. My religion was actually cynicism. I was so irreligious that I would believe every conspiracy theory, and this is into my 20s, even maybe 5 years ago. Okay. I believed that aliens and Jews were conspiring to control the government and all this crazy bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
That's hilarious.
And that was where I went with it.
See, I'm an ex-Jew, and I don't think I've ever run into any aliens that I know of.
Okay, so I have to come out and apologize, first of all, to Objectively Dan. I'm not a troll, but I did call into Truth Wanted a couple weeks ago, and I told my alien abduction story. And okay, I felt a little gypped, I'll say right off the bat.
I remember that, actually. That was you?
That was me.
Oh, shit.
I've been stoned many times in my life, and I've only seen the light once.
Well, hold on. When you say you've been stoned, I'm assuming you like doobie or drug-wise stoned, not.
Yeah. I'm talking about smoking pot. My claim was essentially dismissed because we were smoking marijuana. But what I would say is, hey man, I've smoked marijuana a bunch of times, and this has only ever happened to me once. I don't know. Maybe it was the best shit I've ever smoked in my life, but I doubt it.
That's all it takes.
But I don't hard claim that it's an alien abduction. I said that to the call screener to get me on air. I'll be honest. But it's not a hard claim. I don't have any other explanation for what happened. But when myself and my best friend were on the porch, and this, for lack of a better word, this infinitely bright light consumed all the space around us. We had no other explanation. We'd never seen anything like it before or since. So I still reserve the belief that it may have been an extraterrestrial encounter, but it's not a hard truth.
Why would you believe that?
Well,
why would you believe that, knowing full well that you're under the influence of a narcotic and that what it can do to your brain? Because I've had some weird hallucinations, even on weed. So, but I write them off as hallucinations because, I know how the brain works a little bit. I'm studying neurosciences right now, actually. But
I have a strange pathology. Like when I took a lot of prescribed medication as a kid, and then I abused my medication. So when I learned to deal with hallucinations, I was having hallucinations naturally. I was taking medication to actually subdue the hallucinations I was having. And then that went the other way. I ended up hallucinating intentionally. So I've had experience with mushrooms, with DMT, with LSD. I have never ever had a vivid hallucination like that on any of those drugs. So the fact when people say that could happen from weed, it's not something that I've experienced. So I have to find, for me, some other explanation. I can't attribute it to that because it's not consistent with my usual experience. But I mean, I don't rule out that maybe it was there.
Sure. I mean, there are strains of marijuana that have extra stuff in it too. Don't forget that.
Yeah. And as I was saying, at the time, I already had this preconceived notion that, okay, maybe there's no gods, but I definitely believe there could be aliens. So I had to put that, I had to compartmentalize that somehow. So that was the compartment I put it in. Well, maybe it's probably aliens, you know. Um,
Well,
but
if if it makes you feel any better, I'm a firm believer that there are alien life forms out there somewhere. Whether or not they're coming here seems highly unlikely because literally, according to cosmology, we are in a little backwards area out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So for them to come all the way out here, and maybe there have been a couple of doing flybys and kind of looking down at us going, you know, and then keep going, right? So
yeah,
who
but I
knows?
think I read this morning or yesterday that there are actually 1,400 observable galaxies that have a direct line of sight to the planet Earth uh, through 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 telescopic. Uh,
Galaxies?
yeah, I'm fairly certain that's what it said. Yes.
Oh, that's weird because in our supercluster area, there's maybe a few hundred, and that's considered low numbers as compared to some of the other parts of the superclusters. So, yeah, I mean, maybe, but I can't see it being from another galaxy. I mean, unless these guys are way more advanced than we are, I could see maybe other solar systems. That
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of there. Yes.
that would make more sense to me.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's of course it's theoretical. I don't understand the math. I just trust people who understand it better than I do. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I was reading that, and there's a lot of speculation like that. Um, but I think it's definitely more likely that intelligent life exists. But again, I'm not making the hard truth claim there. I can't say I know.
I
Um,
don't even take that step yet, Kevin. I say other life forms, yes, but I think the likelihood. I think Carl Sagan put it really eloquently one time. He goes, "We could even be the last civilization that has come into being, or we could be the first civilization that has come into being. We just don't know." But the likelihood that there are other life forms out there, not necessarily intelligent, is huge. They've got a new equation that kind of outdoes the old Drake equation that says there could be at least like a million other planets with life on it of some kind. And that's just in our galaxy.
right, right. I mean,
Anyway,
it's exciting. If you're being an optimist, I mean, that's actually really exciting. Maybe it's wishful thinking in that way. For somebody like myself, you know, I can't take the God claim seriously. But hey,
sure.
if I believe that there might be something out there that we can make contact with, that's the best we can hope for in my mind. So
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. But do we really want to make contact with these guys? What if they come over and go, oh, they'll be easy pickings?
yeah, yeah. Well, let's go take their shit.
Yeah. You know, that's funny though, because I think about all the movies that we see about alien invasions, and really the only one movie that really got it right was the original War of the Worlds, where the aliens were eventually overcome by our bacteria and microbes because they had no defense against them. And that's a problem we have to consider too if we're going to be jaunting around from world to world too. We're not prepared to deal with microbes and bacterium and viruses that may be out there on other worlds that our bodies have no idea how to defend against. Right. So the same thing is for the aliens too. When they come here, if they come here, they're going to have to deal with the same thing. Now, if they're far more advanced than us, then they might have some form of a universal vaccine that takes care of every at least known kind. But who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many considerations to make there, but I firmly believe in, you know, as a kid before I got into all this music shit and all that, I wanted to be an astronaut. You know, that was
Cool.
I'm probably not healthy enough now, but I still believe that's got to be the pinnacle of our civilization. When we are able to colonize other planets, we will truly be um, a more unified civilization.
I like that. It's a good analogy. Earth is like the
Mhm.
deer exhibit at the zoo.
Mhm.
You stop for a minute, look, and then it's onto the monkey house. but tons of mice. We are the monkey house. If you think about it.
Tons of mice don't feed the monkeys. Okay, I'll try to move along here in my little
Sorry,
shindig.
I keep derailing you.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm glad I have bullet points because I would have been totally fucking lost right now. I'm writing my autobiography. It will be finished sometime before my death, and you can read the whole rest of the story there.
Sometime before my death. Well, you're gonna have a hard time finishing it if you die, right? So hopefully, yeah.
Unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So I had my fourth child, and I was with his mother, and for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and we separated. Well, at that time, I ended up staying on my friend's couch with my daughter. We were couch surfing. I was essentially homeless, having trouble maintaining a job, and went through a couple of years of that, actually, about a year of that. And then I got involved with another woman. You go figure. This woman changed my life, and she was much older. She's the same age as my mother, actually, just to
Nope.
give you an idea of how messed up I am.
Love doesn't really see boundaries, dude, or things like that. If you fall for someone, I mean,
Yeah.
there are certain lines that we just don't cross, obviously, but yeah, I mean, if she's was up your alley and you guys had a connection and she was older than you, who cares?
Yeah, well, I thought she was perfect at the time, but she's a very spiritual person. We would have a lot of conversations about that because she knew I was an atheist. I knew she believed in light energy and all this shit. So we would talk about it a lot, and it went well for a while. And out of that, I lost my kids. I lost all of my lyrics that I had written from age 13 to 25.
Oh no.
I lost my job and I became homeless. We ended up living in a car. We would
What?
steal. We would steal for money, and we were on crystal meth, and that's where we were at. That's where I was at back in 2014.
Oh boy.
I was hooked on crystal meth. I was with this chick, and lost everything. I couldn't get my shit together, man. And she tried to introduce me to all these crazy ideas. I don't know if you know this guy, David Icke or whatever his name is. These kind of new age spiritualist guys. They have a lot of really strange ideas about the nature. Oh yes, Cynthia. No, age is nothing but a number. Absolutely. I don't think
Well,
that's any reason that.
dude, I'm not going to start dating people that are like 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like there are limits.
Yeah, there are limits, but yeah, but generally speaking, I don't think that should be the. As long as people are mature and consenting, that shouldn't be a thing that keeps you apart.
Right.
But that wasn't what happened with us. Like I said, we went way down the wrong path. It has nothing to do with her being spiritual, but what she was into at the time got me into where I'm at now. So she got into all these crazy new age spiritualists and astrologers and all this type of shit. And I said, this is the opposite of where I'm going. I'm watching Lawrence Krauss. I'm watching Michio
Nice.
Kaku, you know, like,
Michio's hilarious.
yeah.
He's got a lot of really out there ideas, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But at least they're somewhat rational. I mean,
Michio, his ideas, as far out as they can seem, they're plausible. That's the thing.
Right. And so that's when I decided that I was really interested in science education, and so I came That was when I started listening to the Atheist Experience. I started listening to Sam Harris. I started listening to Seth Andrews, and I was pretty exclusively focused on those guys for a while. I didn't come all the way down the rabbit hole for a couple of years. It was around the time that of the Trump election, and that was a really hard time for me. I went into bunker mode. I went and I bought a bow and arrow, and I prepared to go live on a fucking hill. That's what I thought was going to happen in 2016. Of course, it didn't turn out that way. I just ended up getting a shitty day job and trying to rebuild my life. And as I listened to more and more atheists and skeptics, and it started to grow, and I found like people like you, you know, I think that was around the time Jenna Belt came on the Atheist Experience, and so it was like this whole growing skeptic community I saw that I was totally unaware of, and that kind of ended up being what I did when I started going back to work. I would just say, okay, I'm going to listen to podcasts and YouTube videos and focus my mind on this because these people are saying things that make sense, you know. Of course, I at that point I'm like, there's no way I could never do this. Not ever. I'm not that guy. I'm not a conversationalist. I stutter. I suck, you know. But it was always in the back of my head, like maybe I could talk to Matt. Maybe I could talk to you. Maybe I could talk to Tracy. I don't know.
Tracy Harris. Yeah, Sam's got a lot of great work that he's done, but a lot of his recent stuff is kind of off the wall, and I'm not sure if I fall in line with a lot of it. But I do appreciate and respect the work he did in the past because he's also one of the first that I found online, especially the first speech he did. I can't remember the name of the video, but it's talking
It is always now. Is that the one?
I don't know, but no, I don't think that was it, because he's talking about how every year 9 million children die in some horrific way, yet this deity does nothing to step in and put an end to 9 million children dying. That's just kids. Yes, and Jenna's amazing. I agree, Cynthia.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like Sam. I feel he's probably a pretty privileged guy who lives in a bit of a bubble. So that's the only fault I would give to him. I think he has really great ideas. He just doesn't have perspective on the other side, you know.
I agree. And there are others too that I was very much into that kind of went fucking weird and sideways. What's his name that does the oh crap, hang on. It'll come to me in a second here. Peter Boghossian is another one.
Right.
I really respected his work on epistemology, street epistemology type stuff. But he's got some ideas now that I'm just like, is this the same fucking guy? Because you seem to be doing a backswing on some of your ideas, right? Like, what the fuck? Do you use your street epistemology on yourself before you can come to these conclusions, dumbass? Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so I listen to those guys. Like I said, I listened to those guys religiously before I found you. Just to use that again.
Oh, I see. I see how it is. I'm the bottom of the barrel guy. I'm just kidding.
No, I had seen you on XP.
Oh, I've never been on XP. You mean Talk Heathen?
You weren't on Talk Heathen. Okay, that's right. Yes. I knew I saw you on an ACA show, and then that's when I was like, I need to talk to this guy. But of course, I still didn't have the freaking cojones, you know, to reach out. I don't know what I'm doing.
Pretty laid back, man.
But so that's when I start going down this rabbit hole, right? And so for another reference here, in 2017, I was actually banned from Facebook. So if you see my Facebook now, I'm Chevin Chaos. It's just, you know, a fucking crappy pseudonym. Facebook banned me for being apparently too liberal.
Wow.
That's what all I could figure. Yeah.
Get her done.
I lost control of all my pages, all my everything. And so that's when I decided to get on Twitter. And that's actually how I really came into contact with you, Nakasuchi and John Peterson, guys like that. Was when I got kicked off of Facebook and I started, trolling around on Twitter. This whole
That's
pronouns in bio thing was the final straw for me.
Yeah.
With Sam Harris?
Bogosian.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for that too much myself. I'm a dude, by the way. I identify as a dude. Oh no.
A cowboy?
I hope you can't hear that.
Huh?
Shut this shit off.
No,
Somebody's trying to call me.
Oh, I see. No,
Sounds
I didn't
horrible.
hear that.
It's my mom.
I didn't hear. Oh, whoa!
Oh, God.
Her ears must be burning.
Thankfully, you couldn't hear that.
No,
that was horrible. That was very awful.
Yeah, Bogosian had made a comment about why do people put their pronouns in their bio, like on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Not realizing that most people that do that, especially if they're cis people, they're doing that to try to help normalize it, to help out the other folks who put it in there so people don't get confused about who they are. Oh, I think we lost him. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's back. We lost you, buddy. Give him a sec, guys. But that's basically it, Kevin, as I was
I done
saying.
fucked up.
That's okay. It happens. Bogosian was going on about people putting their pronouns in their bio and why he thinks it's, and they says, and everyone that does it seems to be angry. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? I do it to show support to these people and to help normalize it so that we don't have to do that. Everyone will know that, like, well, people that have a different gender will obviously still continue to do that and say, please, refer to me as they, them, he, her, and some of the new ones that they've come up with. If it's there for a reason so that they are not misgendered is what it's about. And I do that in support of those people and to try and normalize it because it's ridiculous that people have a problem with that. These words already exist, most of them anyways, guys. And if you're going to have a problem using someone's pronouns that they prefer, then you're just a dick. That's it. Bottom line. You're not you're not a fucking decent person. That's all I can say.
I totally agree. And with anybody, you should use preferred pronouns. And if it's not immediately obvious to you, you should ask somebody what they prefer. It's not a huge issue for me, but I've known LGBTQ people. My pronouns are dude. That yeah, exactly. That's me. I don't care personally, but for people who do, I mean, you should be respectful of that.
Of course, yes.
And so being mindful of that is important. For myself, I don't make it an issue. I say, let people call me whatever they're going to call me. Like I said, I'm just another dude here. So
exactly. Yeah. It's a thing now, and people identify differently. And if you're unsure, just ask. Like you said, and like Cynthia said, that's all you got to do. It's about respect. That's all it is. It's not about you. And I don't want to have to change how I refer to. You're not changing anything, jackass. You're just referring to somebody as they prefer to be referred to. That's all it is. And I fuck up from time to time because my brain's so fucking old school. But I always say, oh, listen, I'm really sorry. And I'll refer to you as the proper from here on out. And most of the time, actually, pretty much all the time, they're like, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I get it. So, all right.
Gotcha.
Anyways, let's get back into your story and we'll bring it to a wrap up and then we can get into an after party, man.
Yeah, sounds great. So yeah, I came into just watching YouTube videos, and over time, about a little over a year ago, I already had a YouTube channel for my music. So I said, hey, I want to start talking about politics. I want to start talking to these atheists. And I started making really horrible videos. Don't go back and watch them. They suck. Yeah, about a year ago, I started making some videos. And as you may know, I'm at work right now. I have the privilege of being able to use the Wi-Fi access. And I'm here with my thumb up my ass anyway. So I said, I'm watching hours and hours of YouTube content. I should get on here and start talking to people. And I just did that. And for a while, it was really slow going. I didn't think anybody was going to listen to me. But like I said, I mean, every time I think I'm going to give up, I have people like John Peterson, Nakasuchi, Math Pig, Junk Shop Library, Grumpy Old Dude, Godless Granny. They come in and they prop me up. They support me. They say, hey, you just keep going. Like, keep your head up and keep doing this.
Good people, all of them.
Yeah. It's like, and I just find this immense level of support that I never found in the music industry. People in the music industry, they don't want you to do too well because you might take their thunder, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. I'd say fuck them anyways. I'm going to keep making music till I die.
Yeah, and this is something that I realize I've believed this for many years, and I just haven't maybe been vocal enough about it. And I just want to educate myself and maybe help to educate other people. So that's why I keep trying to do this. So the Trusty 8 podcast, we're doing Deconstructed Atheist. That's on tomorrow.
Cool.
Anybody who's willing to come on, whether you're an atheist, an apologist, I mean,
sorry.
That's all I do. This is like the thing that's propping me up right now. Like, I've got so much to be depressed over, as far as, you know, I'm battling in court for my kids and stuff like that.
1 second.
Yeah.
Sure, you've got a lot to be depressed over. I think many of us could say that. But how much do you have to be joyous over, to be excited about? Does it outweigh the other stuff?
I mean, I've got this.
Sure.
This is making my day, you know, doing stuff like this. I had a good jam sesh with my band earlier.
Me too.
I just have to focus on shit like that, you know. That's all I can do.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The other stuff will eventually, somehow, some way, sort itself out. So,
absolutely, and that's what I want to do this year. I want to be a more positive member of this society. You know, I've put out plenty of negative fucking energy. So,
well, my DMs are always open, and I can give you my phone number if you ever need just to chat.
Greatly appreciate that.
Just ask Mikey. I mean, it took him forever to get my phone number. But he just kept hitting on me, so just he's cracking
Mikey,
up.
You whore. No.
Oh, he's a total whore. Anyway,
so yeah, what I was saying to somebody earlier, it was a couple of days ago. They asked me why I didn't just join a new church, and I said, I think I already did. You know, this is it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Just to answer J.R. Cleet's question, I hope Neil has a memory foam couch to sleep on. That's what I'm sleeping on, is a memory foam couch. Because I'm too cheap for an actual fucking bed.
I'm sleeping on a twin size 10-year-old children's mattress. So.
Oh God. Not a fucking chest. My feet would be hanging over the edge by like 3 feet.
Oh yeah.
Might as well sleep in a chair. Like a lazy boy or something. Actually, those can be quite comfy. I've nodded off in a few of those. Anyway.
Yeah, I fell asleep on the couch at work a couple of weeks ago and got myself in trouble. So don't tell anybody.
You just did. But I thought
back now.
I thought I'd ask you, are you at work right now?
Yeah, but don't tell anybody.
Like, are you on a scheduled shift?
No, yeah, I am. But like I said, there's nothing to do. When we take a break for the after party, I'm going to go walk around the building. There's absolutely nobody here, and I'm going to come back, and that's it. It's easy as fucking pie. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, well, dude, you could have scheduled this not on a work day, you know.
Yeah, but I actually get better service here. That's the trouble I've been having. I got kicked out of Math Pig's room the other day. Yeah.
Well, it's because Math Pig's a dick. He's awesome. Math Pig's he's hysterical, and it pisses him off because I'm that typical a-hole that goes, dude, say Lucky Charms. I'm that dickhead. That's amazing. He just takes it and goes, only for you. In my Lucky Charms. Yeah, it's like, it's fucking awesome. But it's so stupid. It says I have to do it. The cosine swine.
Cosine swine.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
It makes
No,
me
he
laugh.
came on. He's actually been coaching me on a bit. He's gonna help me make an intro for my channel, so I don't, come on like fucking. I wonder if Mikey will sell Neil's phone number. Uh-oh.
Better be for a lot of money, and I want half.
Yeah, I'm bidding 20 right now.
How much we talking? All right, you know what? It sounds like we're already in after party mode. So why don't we? Is there anything you want to cap this off with, and maybe let people know? I do have your links below, of course. They can follow you on Twitter, and they can follow you on YouTube as well. Is there anything you wanted to say before we bring this to a close, and then we will get into that after party?
Yeah, sure. There's a previous video I did. I just wanted to reiterate. I've been an atheist for a long time. Being an atheist never made me a better person. When you are seeking to improve yourself, it's got to be purely for that. Like, there's nothing about knowing that there's no God that's going to improve you. That's not the way this works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. It's like I just want to have better relationships, better communication with people. I don't like to ask for subscribers. I don't like to ask for money. I've got a laptop fund. It's on my YouTube or my Facebook and my Twitter. But I hate that fucking shit. All right, that's not for me. I'm here to have better conversations with people, and whatever that is. So you can find me at Trusty 8 Podcast under my name, Kevin Lentini, on YouTube. And my email is trusty8co@gmail.com. I'm willing to talk to anybody. But I'm not going to ask you to subscribe to me. I would prefer you subscribe to Neil or Junk Shop Library or Math Pig or any of those guys. And if you make it over to my channel, that's cool. That's cool. But I just want to represent love and peace and harmony between people. And I hope maybe my experience will help people to better interact with each other.
Yeah, me too. That's why I do these things. Hopefully it helps. Well, Kevin, what can I say, brother? Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, and we give me about 10, 15 minutes before the after party.
Of course. I always take a bit of a break anyways, because I like to go out and have a quick smoke and roll up a joint or something like that. And then we'll get into it. So if any of you guys out in the chat, which first of all, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really appreciate that you're here. If you would like to join us in the after party, please let me know through Facebook or Twitter. Or if you don't have either of those, my email is down below. It's 604atheist@gmail.com. And I will send you a link, and you can jump in here with us. I already know some folks that Cynthia, I hope you're healed enough to jump in. If you're not, I don't want you in here because I don't want us making you laugh and you like pop seams or something. So you're gonna be you got to be healed up, or at least close to it. Oh yeah, you can DM Mikey too. Yeah, actually, that's a better idea. But they may not be following you, Mikey. Actually, fuck, get them to bring your ass in here.
Why? What a unique idea. I wasn't chilling to get myself on screen at all. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Neil's Deconversion Stories.
Yeah. Thanks. By the way, thank you to this wonderful human being right over here. He's an amazing friend, and he's also an amazing producer. And there's the actual Kevin right down there. You can see him, but using the video chews up his bandwidth. No, this isn't my smoke break yet, Jeff. All right, calm down. I'll work in the chat. Okay, all right. Yeah, Cynthia, you're only allowed back in here when you're healed up. All right. You have to come back at some point though, because you're hysterical, and I love you to death.
Remember when Swede got his surgery? Sorry, I have hiccups for some reason.
I have that effect on people.
Yeah, it just takes my breath away.
Carried away.
That's how I got your number. Remember when we tried to murder Irish Swede by making him laugh when he just had open heart surgery? Cynthia, come on in. No jokes will be told. Everything will be fine.
I like Tobin. Rip some dank. I plan on it, brother. I plan on it.
No one will try to make you laugh, Cynthia. No one. Not.
Got me a couple strains here.
Maybe
no one will try to make her laugh. It's inevitable.
No, I'm definitely not looking up dad jokes right now.
That means he is.
I would never do that. Cynthia, come on in. It'll be safe. No one's going to coins.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Coins is the drinking game, by the way, folks. When you hear my phone make the Mario coin sound and you see the little hashtag coins, you got to take a drink. And by the way, we'll be selling things like these beer cozies that say hashtag coins on them when the merch store opens. And I'm going to make that happen really fast because I think we got some great ideas for merch. Anyway.
Oh, why isn't Cynthia mad? Oh, well.
Anyway, why isn't she? That's a good question.
I can't do it anymore.
I can.
Yeah, you have to do it.
I'm going to do it because she deserves mod status.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have too many mods. At least you've always got 15 or 20 of them in the chat at one time to keep the other bastards in line.
I feel left out. I don't have a wrench anywhere.
Well, you're not in the chat, Kevin. You're not typing in there. So I can't because you're busy with me right now. Eventually, I'll get you one. Don't worry.
I got like 6 or 7 of them. So I can slide one over your way.
I've got 6 or 7 of them. Hang on. I can't believe the Matt Dillahunty video got well over 1,100 views.
It's a good show.
Everybody loves Matt.
It was a good show. I think we had a lot of fun on that one. I'm just going to see if I can find that. Hang on a second. Here, I can't do it on the fucking phone. I hate the phone. It sucks. YouTube Studio doesn't allow you to do that, so I don't know why. But
you can do it from the chat on the actual live feed itself.
That's what I have to do. I can't not do it except that way. So, I lost a sub. I was at 2050 and I went down to 2049.
They don't like me. I'm sorry.
I'm done with this
My
shit.
fault.
Hang on.
It's probably the one dislike from yesterday.
The one dislike. All right, this is gonna make some noise for a second until I. No, I don't want. What do you fuck about? Fuck! God damn it! All right, hang on.
We can do this during the smoke break.
Yeah, I could, but I can't do that because. Well, no. Hang on. I got it. It's here. It's happening. It's happening right fucking now. There, Cynthia, you are now a moderator.
All right, Cynthia, say something so we can see your shining blue name.
All right, Lefty Philosophy. Hello. Haven't seen you in a while.
L.
All right.
The P.
All right, guys, we're going to take a bit of a break, and then we're going to jump into that after party. So I hope to see you guys over there. If you want, there is a link to the after party below. So just click on that and hang out. We'll be along any minute. All right. So, crab apples, says Neil. Did I say crab apples?
That's what she said.
Did I? Wow. That's
You're watching the Andy Griffith show or something?
I still like that show. It's funny.
Oh,
the best
sticks.
Fuck, man. The best is Floyd the barber and the drunk guy that has to sleep in the drunk tank every night.
Yeah.
What's his Otis? Otis, I think is his name.
Otis. Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm going to open up Facebook because I know some of you are only on Facebook and you might want to join us for the after party. So I'll be looking for those messages.
Slide
all right.
DMs.
I'll try not to fuck everything up, Neil. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Now I'm going to go through my little mentions that I always do at the end of the show. First of all, starting out with my wonderful, amazing, awesome patrons. Because of you guys. And I got a few more. And a couple people actually upped their patronage, which is amazing.
Hey.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you guys for being the amazing folks that you are and helping to support the show. I appreciate it so much you'll never know just how much I appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out the new True North Talk channel, which is up. All we have so far some construction videos that you can go laugh at, because we're building our studio. We hope to have it done by the springtime, and we're going to have some call-in show, very much like the Truth Wanted, Talk Heathen, Atheist Experience type stuff. So head on over there and give us a sub so you'll be notified the moment we start going live. It should be a lot of fun. And once a month, we'll be going 4 times a month on the show. But once a month, we're going to have a guest host in there with us. So you never know when we might come knocking on your door. Also, myself and the lovely Jenna and the lovely Cynthia that are in the chat with us today are hosts of the new relaunch of the Nonprofit Show. So head over there and subscribe to that, because we have a lot of fun doing that show. The last Saturday of every month, Andy, Seamus, and myself, and Andy is known for laughing in disbelief, pardon me. Can't even talk anymore. Seamus is from the Free Thought Prophets, along with John, and I've been on both of their shows. And Andy, Seamus, and myself do a little show last Saturday of every month called Atheists Drinking Out Loud, where we pick some ridiculous topic, make fun of it, and we always have a guest with us. And it's a lot of fun. There's at least a half a dozen episodes already. So if you missed any of those, you can go check those out too. They're all on the Laughing in Disbelief channel. So head over there and check it out. Pastor Mike, welcome, my friend.
Hey, Pasta.
And he's definitely got a crank call. I love it. Anyway, so I've added a new resource to my resources below for helping people once they've gone or left religion and they might be having problems. My very good friend Janice Selby has a company called Divorcing Religion. And I have a link to her company as well below. She's an amazing human being. So I definitely at least go and check out her website, because she can help out a lot of people. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and hanging out with us. I appreciate all of you like you'll never know. But, well, until I tell you like I just did. Oh, my humor's kind of out there. But like I always say at the end of the interviews, guys, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we will see you guys next time.